like sort of one unit, seemed depressed. And I wondered if that was intentional.
Yeah, I don't think I knew that language at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't think I would say yes now because I'm, I think like most Americans, sort of very well versed in pop psychology,
yes.
which I'm sure annoys real psychologists.
Sometimes.
But yes, I would say that now. But at the time, no. But again, I think it's also a question of language because we can call it depressed, but the point is that that family was a wounded family. That family was, deeply, deeply wounded, and the family was not whole. It was not a whole family, and there's no way it would be with a father and a husband like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
So where was home for you in this book?
Home is always home for me now.
Well, I'm thinking that if you were writing the book while you were homesick,
yeah.
and this was in some way making a connection for you.
I am home still. I mean, when I was writing the book, the home that I missed was where I grew up. I grew up in Nsukka, and most of the book is set there. And I wanted to try and capture this sense of decline, and I like to think that in the book that the place is as much a character as the actual characters. I wanted to try and get my reader to have a sense of Nsukka, to feel that they were there, really. Because when I was growing up, Nsukka was already in decline.
Mm-hmm.
So Nsukka is Nigeria's premier university. In the 60s and 70s and early 80s, it was thriving, and infrastructure worked, and then suddenly things just went down, and mostly because the government was now a military dictatorship, and education wasn't funded, and you just saw things go into major decline. And I wanted to try and capture that in a way that, but also with a kind of what I like to think of as a beautiful melancholy, that you're already mourning what is passing.
Mm. Yeah. So, I'm sorry if you haven't read the book yet, I don't mean to give away things, but is Jaja's understanding of what it means to be a man the same or different than Eugene's?
That's very interesting. I think quite similar, which is, interesting. I think quite similar. That idea of, it's funny because when I wrote the book, again, I didn't have this kind of language of toxic masculinity, that sort of thing, right? But really, that's what Jaja has absorbed as well, which is why, but even as I was writing it, I knew that Jaja's choice wasn't healthy. I mean, that he too had absorbed the idea that it was his job to protect. And I think for me, I'm going to try not to go into one of my feminist rants, but for me, the problem of that idea of protecting is that to buy into it, the person you're protecting necessarily then has to be helpless, cannot have full agency and full autonomy. And I've always had a problem with that, which is why, I think, sort of the idea of chivalry, it might be charming to some people, but I don't think it's something to aspire to, because the premise is that one person or that half of humanity is fundamentally helpless, and the other half has the responsibility of somehow, helping. Yeah, so I think the answer to your question is yes, actually, they're quite similar. Yeah, that idea of because Eugene, in doing all the things that he does, he's guided by his sense of duty as a man, right? It's his responsibility to protect and to guide, right? So it's kind of violence as a way of leading people to good, which is just really messed up, but that's how he processes it.
Right.
Yeah.